So we'll give it another, oh, it's 10 o'clock. It
All
is
right.
time. So we'll give it another minute. Oh, awesome, awesome. So welcome to another IG Live with me. My name is Millie. I am the Marketing and Business Development Director here at Black Diamond. We started doing these lives because we feel that we are, we want to pour out to people. We want to give people insight and also give the platform to other businesses in our industry, colleagues, a dear friend of mine, Nick Ford. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always so refreshing to see familiar faces and having the opportunity to give your business a platform. I personally, ever since we met, I think your niche is fantastic. I didn't know it existed. It aligns so well with what we do with temporary relocations, and we'll go a little deeper on that. But Nick is the owner of Pack on the Go, and I'll give you the floor. If you can give us a little bit of insight, like what got you started? Why did you join this industry? Give us a little background of who you are.
Millie, I appreciate you for having me on here, and it's amazing to work with you in tandem. Going on 18 years in business. What got me into this industry, my company has changed quite a few times over the years. Started in packing and shipping high-end art and antiques, dealing with a lot of sentimental, emotional senior relocation. About 9 years ago, I fell into the insurance side of the market, doing what we call pack out. I've managed some people's contents for over 22 years. So it came natural when we started to work on what a pack out was. When I first was introduced to it by, a lot of my work comes from restoration companies, public adjusters, etc. When I was introduced to a pack out, when I was doing complex relocations and stuff like that, I was told that a pack out is we take everything out of a home and we put it back where we found it, which was much easier than bringing it from point A to point B. So I found it something that I could turn into a machine, make it operate well. And the rewarding factor of being able to bring people back home after what they've gone through. When I was in moving and storage, the top 3 stressful things is death, divorce, and then moving. And then if everything, death, divorce, they all involve a move, right? But an insurance claim brings it up one more notch. So you're dealing with people. Managing and dealing with contents for so many years, it kind of fell into it. And now we've done for the last 5 years, it's been 100% insurance work based on the claim side. We no longer do the moving and storage. We no longer do the packing and shipping. Growing like crazy. We have 3 locations here in Florida. Everything's been going fantastic. And that's the importance of people's possessions is kind of, underrated. People don't realize, you think of an insurance claim, you're thinking about the house, the structure, the walls, the floors, the counters. But the stuff that's in the home has moved from home to home, sometimes generation to generation. Very important. And there's coverage to have it managed properly. So the difference between a pack out, which people know is just throw it in boxes and kind of, get it out of the house. We call it contents management. It's kind of an industry on our own that we're creating it because we do every aspect of the process. We do the hand holding, the sorting, the non-salvage, the inventory, the valuation reports. We also produce those in-house. But we do the packing, the storage, the restoration. Everything is done in-house. And that's electronics, textiles. Yeah, go ahead.
Nick, so with that, can you walk us through the process of what it entails to pack out for a homeowner, and what should a homeowner prepare for?
Well, we do a variety of pack outs. Some of them are partial. Sometimes we're trying to leave the homeowner comfortable in the home where they don't have coverage to move out or the kitchen's not affected. I'm sure you're familiar with this when you're justifying temporary housing. In those cases, we try to leave them comfortable, leave them set up on a bed. We're going to pack out the rooms that the contractors need to work on. But when we're dealing with most cases where we're dealing, and just one thing I want to explain, which is kind of a misconception, most people only think of us if it's a major flood, major mold, and a significant fire. We excel at those, we clean, we restore the contents. More than half of my business is for reconstruction purposes only, meaning that there was an AC leak that went under the wood floors, and we're going to be packing everything out so the construction can be done and we put it back. There is coverage for this. So a lot of our referral sources, they only think of me for fire. So I just want to get that point out there. But going through the process, if we realize that they're going to be staying outside of the home, our first step before you find their location, the first step that we're going to do is help them take the personal effects they're going to want during the construction. If it's 3 months, 6 months, this is a certain wardrobe they want to keep, certain items, they may want their mattress. Once that's done, we come into the home and we do a full photo inventory. Every item is barcoded, inventoried. The insured has online access, and so does the adjuster for transparency. In the event they need anything, they can pull it. But we go through it, inventory it, pack it out, take detailed pictures. If restoration is involved, once we get approved from the carrier to do the cleaning, we restore the contents. We hold it until it's ready for pack back. The key point here is any company can pack out a house. It's how you pack it back. It's the way it comes back. You know, things don't always go perfect, and when they don't, we make it right. To have the same name for 18 years, it's, you know, it's a tough one. But we go through the whole process. We work with the restoration contractors to keep the timeline minimal. This way we're not packing out too early or, you know, packing back too soon. That's pretty much the process in a nutshell.
You know, I love your services for many reasons. But one of the points I just want to circle back on when you said most people in the industry, when they think of loss of use and packing out, they think of the worst case scenario. And I come across that all the time as well. I think it's because it's such a niche and it's sometimes difficult to understand how valuable it is to bring on somebody that, you know, packs out everything and restores it. And then, you know, temporary relocations, and they go hand in hand. And I know you and I have worked on multiple claims together where once we have solidified a location, then your team comes in and packs everything out. So we've done major losses and we've also done minor losses, right? I think that just understanding that the homeowner was not living in these conditions prior to, so why should they? Why should they live in this home? And why should their items be compromised? Should there be work going on and, you know, dust particles happening? There's people with, you know, health issues. And I think all of this plays a huge part too. And I want you to explain, what does restoring those items look like?
Well, a little bit later today, I'm going to give you a quick tour of our office here. This is one of our 3 offices. Going to show you kind of how it operates. But, you know, the restoration process, we use a variety of equipment depending on what we're restoring, what we're handling. Like I said, we do the majority of things in-house. The exceptions are high-end artwork, custom drapes, pool tables. That's about all we don't handle in-house, but we manage it. We clean all textiles, all clothing, all fabrics. We do that in-house. We do upholstery. We also have full ultrasonic equipment that does the deep cleaning, a lot more efficient than hand cleaning. And we also do electronics. You'll see some of this equipment a little bit later today. But going through the process and using our inventory software, you know, you're able to see it transparent through the process. That online access can show you as it gets restored. They can see the before and after pictures and go through the process. This also justifies our billing with the carriers.
Is one of the most challenging claims that you have handled, and how did your involvement help the entire?
Well, we've seen a lot. What happens on the restoration side is a lot of times when it's, you know, it's a pretty significant claim, the restoration contractors automatically assume that they can't save anything. But there is a lot that can be saved. And we've had a lot of claims where, you know, the heartstrings are pulled. You know, thinking of a claim that was right here in Coral Springs, significant fire, roof caved in, insulation everywhere. The restoration company gave us a call, but they were ready to total loss everything. We literally had to sift through the drywall, the insulation, went through it, and he had a full 45 record collection. The covers and everything, not so great condition. We saved half the set, but he wanted these records regardless. You know, this collection was worth a fortune. The restoration company already piled it up for trash. We had to pull it out, save it. We saved the carrier significant money on the contents. But another thing was super interesting. The daughter, she was 16 years old, and she kept all her father's tapes, like cassette tapes. You know what those are, Millie? Yeah. So she listened to all her music on this Walkman that was her father's, and actually her grandfather's before that. And we found it, and she brought it to me when I was in there digging through, and she says, "Dad, I want to have this back." and we were able to clean it and restore. Like something like that's usually non-salvage. You're going to throw it away. It's been sitting in a drawer for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But we brought back the majority of her tape collection. She lost a lot of the tapes because, you know, a lot of them were just soaked. You couldn't save it. But we brought back the Walkman, and she started crying. Like, it was just something so silly. But that's those little things. It's when we bring the boxes back, you know, when I say put lives back together one box at a time, it's like Christmas. You know, they open up things, and some of these fires, they take a year, 14, 16 months. They forget about these things. They bring them back.
Oh.
And it's way better than the new cabinets and counters that they just put in. I mean, the house is nice and everything, but when you bring things back that would normally be tossed, you know, it's important. And this doesn't apply to everybody. You know, a lot of people have stuff that they don't really care about, but there's always one or two things in your house you're going to want, you know.
And I think, like, people don't realize how meaningful a lot of these items are to many people, you know, records from, you know, their parents or just, you know, anything in general. And you do such a amazing job, you and your team, of restoring it and keeping it. My next question is, how do homeowners stay up to date or informed throughout the pack out process, but also while they're packed out? Can they access?
Yeah.
I know that your technology is like robust, and that was one of the greatest things that really blew me away, is the technology behind it. So it's kind of a twofold question. Part one is, how do they stay up to date, but also how has technology helped you and your business, you know, continue to scale and implement processes that make homeowners
so there's
comfortable with
two main
belongings?
softwares we use. You know, our inventory software is iCAD. It's been around. It's one of the original ones, the modern contents inventory software. But our project management software, I've personally built, and along with my team, we built custom workflows that go through the whole process. So on the initial call, we have automated workflows that take them through the whole process. This also keeps our restoration contractors, our public adjusters, carrier adjusters, you know, even the housing company informed of where we're at. It automatically gets to my bookkeeping, gets to the next step, but they're automatic email generated based on when we complete the pack out, when we complete the restoration, when we complete the pack back, and the follow-up process that we deal with the contractors and the homeowners as the construction's moving along. Unfortunately, things take a little bit longer now. You know, subcontractors are hard to find. The work isn't so great out there. And a lot of our homeowners optimistically schedule their return of their contents. And then a contractor falls through. But we stay on top of that, and it's a lot of scheduling different things. But with our software and the online access, they can access it at any time. As soon as we have it packed out, stabilized in our warehouse, we send them a link with secure access as a secure code, a little bit different view than what the adjuster would see. And they'll be able to see everything. But when we walk into a homeowner's house to kind of explain our services, they're thinking in their head about that last terrible move that they had or that move they heard about. There's a big difference between moving and contents management. When they can understand that they have online access and they can basically see their items. We have pictures of everything in every box. We have pictures of the contents, pre-existing damage caused by the loss. It changes. It's a feeling that you could see that when it clicks. And you're like, oh, this is different. And this is, unfortunately, a lot of contractors, when they're dealing with the homeowner's like, nobody's taking my stuff. I'm leaving it here. You're going to have to move it from room to room to room. And these contractors just go ahead and do that. But you know, working with a contents management company like us or any professional contents management company, we can come in and speak with the homeowner and explain the difference. Once we get that across, the project goes smoother, the project goes faster, carrier saves money on ALE, sorry about that. But, you know, it all works out for everybody, you know?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think, like, there's a lot of claims, and just like with loss of use and, you know, temporary relocations, a lot of these policies go untouched, right? They're only covering the dwelling portion, and then ALE is untouched, pack out is untouched. Meanwhile, they need all of these services. So we encourage, and it is imperative that homeowners read their policies, and contents is usually coverage C. Just check out if you have that coverage, and if you do, reach out to Nick at, you know, at Pack on the Go to find out more. You know, they can dig a little deeper. They can, you know, perhaps confirm that coverage is in your policy. They can walk you through the process, and if you have it, use it. Please use it because it's there. If not, then you lose it, kind of thing. If you're not utilizing it in a moment of need after, you know, such catastrophic losses and even minor losses, you should not have to live with all of your belongings in a place that could be at risk, or, you know, they start protruding air particles or whatever it may be. So it's in the small details that make the difference, because if there is mold in a home and now your furniture is exposed to that, then that's potentially at risk too. Just to reiterate, Nick has offered to do a little walkthrough in his office in about a few minutes. He'll show us where these contents are stored, how they're restored. I love your facilities. I've been to the one in Pompano and Deerfield, and it's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing,
you
yes.
Definitely did it 100. Yeah,
Didn't happen overnight.
It's very impressive.
One thing I want to touch on is
no,
that
it did not.
coverage C. You know, I get that question, and you know, it's like a foggy question from a lot of public adjusters, even restoration contractors. So what do you cover? Coverage C? And I mean, how do you get paid? You get paid out of coverage C. I guess that's more of the question. But the coverage C, the big misconception, that C they think is only covers for damaged contents. They don't realize it covers for the management of contents. And if anybody's had to do it out there or seen it done, or if anybody's ever moved themselves and they packed for 2 weeks and unpacked for 3 weeks after that, that coverage covers that for somebody, you know, and that's what homeowners and insureds get stuck doing all the time. You know, carriers don't advertise it. They get stuck putting their life on hold, packing everything for 2 reasons. 2, they just don't know it's there. 2, they don't trust. The second one is they don't trust a company coming in and do it themselves. That's where we kind of come in. But that coverage C, there's always plenty of coverage, and a lot of times on the PA side, they don't realize it. They think we're going to be taking something from the insured or taking something from, you know, the pot. Definitely wanted to touch on that a little bit.
That's super important. And I was going to ask you about that. So a homeowner, if they use your services, are they coming out of pocket for any of these services, or
Working
are you working directly with the carrier?
There are some issues that do come up, and this is a big question for everybody. When we're dealing with a mold cap, you know, there's a certain amount of coverage, and that restoration contractor has a bill for $9,999, and there's $1 left on the policy. It's amazing once we start speaking with the carrier how much that they will actually cover above that cap, because it's a little bit different. The management of the contents, the packing, the moving, the storage, the inventorying, usually is related with the initial water loss. So a lot of times we can get that covered. So a lot of people don't pick up the phone and call us because they think that we're going to take a portion of that mold. But once we have a conversation with the carrier, but what does happen sometimes with the insured is we get pretty selective when there's limited mold coverage. We all have about 60, 70% in our closets we never wear anymore. How about you? You wear everything in your closet? So we go through their clothes to make sure they want this stuff restored, or if this is time to purge because you have X amount of coverage. So the upholstery and the soft goods, you can never guarantee 100% that you're going to remove mold. Everything in Florida has a little bit mold anyway. So but if it's not grandma's sofa, this might be time to let it go. But we'll go through that process and go over what's important when there's limited coverage.
You're explaining it gives me, I'm putting myself in the homeowner's, you know, position of having to get rid of things. Like when you're not ready, like you just experienced this catastrophic loss, right? Because any loss in your home, it's your home, it's your temple, right? It's your safe place. And so now you're dealing with that. But I feel that your team is, and I know people who have used your services that are not only clients, but friends. And the one thing that I always get is they were so patient and they were so empathetic through the entire process. Because one thing is coming packing, and another thing is understanding how important and valuable those items are for people. And so when you tackle it with the sentimental touch, it makes all of the difference. Because I have worked with other pack out companies that go in, get out, you know, very black and white. And unfortunately, as much as we want to, you know, keep going and going on to the next claim and, you know, tackle more people, you can never lose that sentimental touch, especially when dealing with things that are so valuable.
Thank you.
So I want to commend you on successfully doing that time after time. I get it all the time from people.
I
So
appreciate
you're
that.
doing it right.
Doesn't come that easy. There's emotional attachment to a lot of contents in people's homes, and most people don't realize that, especially the men, right? They don't get it. They're like, oh, I got my, it could be their Xbox, or it could be this trophy, but there's very little. But, when you deal with the women on that side, there's a lot more that's attached, especially, you're dealing with photos. When we go into a home, we ask them what's most important. If they're not around because the conditions are severe, our contents managers go through anything that's sentimental. We find the photos, passports, documents, diplomas, anything that can't be replaced. Photos are different nowadays for the younger generations, but some of these homes, they don't have these in a cloud somewhere. This is the only framed photo they have. The frame can be destroyed, but we can save the photos.
Yeah.
And that's super important. And most companies won't do that. They're just going in, throwing it all together. We go after those things first, and it makes a big difference. Sometimes it's such a loss. It's only those things. We can only save the pictures. We can only save grandma's rocking chair and these few pieces. And even if we can't get it back to pre-loss condition, they want it anyways, as close as we can get it. So there's a lot of intrinsic value.
Another great value with you guys is, it's like you briefly touched on earlier, the fact that you put back everything where it was. Like, that is so big. Whether the homeowners are there or not, your team does a phenomenal job in just putting back the plant pot,
yep.
in that little table, the pictures in the right place. And that's because you guys
with our software, we actually take detailed room pictures in and out. And in our software, it has a feature, wish I could show it right now, but we're going to be doing some videos pretty soon. It has a mirror packback feature. So if I actually take a picture of your china cabinet, it'll outline the original picture. So if you got little giraffe statues, we can put it exactly the way it is. But that's the main thing with packback. Nobody actually does that. They think there's not coverage. The carrier won't pay for it. You have the contents coverage for it. Why would they not get you back to pre-loss condition? And that, the main point of using a company like us is we're the last ones. We're the last ones involved on the claim. When you refer us, we're that silver lining at the end, and it's super appreciated for anybody that brings us into a claim. But when we can do at the end, and things happen towards the end, we get a punch list like the restoration companies. We're dealing with thousands of items. Things happen. 18 years, I've made everything right. Something gets damaged, something gets nicked, that's our fault that we don't have documented. It's replaced or fixed, repaired, whatever it may be. We don't cover anything up. If we end up scratching the floor, we're going to replace the floor. If we damage the wall, we're going to damage the wall. And with people listening that worked with pack-out companies, that worked with them before, and they're afraid to ever use one again, I just want to know that we're different. And that's one little hurdle we have. We meet a lot of people in the industry, and they're like, yeah, we'll use you. And I could see it in their head that they've tried it before, and they don't want to have any attachment to that. Yeah, I don't.
They have the PTSD, and it's true. I mean, I can't blame them either, because essentially it's their name on the line, right? But this is why it's so important to get out there and see all of the resources in the industry. That leads me to my next question. You're really good at networking, Nick, and your team is phenomenal. You guys put on great events, super entertaining. So could you give me what is one of your strategies, or what works best for you networking-wise?
It's all in the smile. It's all in the energy, right? You got to, if with a lot of us being at the same events, you can see 90% of the booths are moping like this, It may have a little bit that I show up, a little bit, but but even if I'm not there, my team does an amazing job. And it's you're supposed to have a good time there. We're supposed to, it's relationships. We're all dealing with the same kind of issues, same kind of problems, same type of customer. And it's really not just about standing in front of your sign. You gotta put the heart, the truth into it. If you have your staff behind you and they understand, it's a little bit different. But you can see a lot of people that we do exhibit with and network with, they're like this right here, sleeping. You're like, you can't do that. And the moment that would start happening,
yeah.
I'm sure I would know about it, and then we have to spark it up a little bit. We need more than a skee ball machine.
You guys have the best entertainment. And that's true. Thank you so much for sharing that. Who would you say is your go-to professional in this industry? Who do you want to connect with? I know we have adjusters on right now, some roofers. Who would you like to connect with in regards to providing your service?
Anybody dealing with somebody who's going through an insurance claim? Is that everybody on here? The majority of our business comes from restoration contractors, and the majority of that are the ones that hold the GC because they want, and this is something I want to kind of put out there, which is a little understanding. We have a lot of great companies that only do the restoration and remediation. After they do the tear out, dry out, and remediation, they're out. But when they see that this house is eventually going to need to be packed out, meaning they targeted the area, it'd be fantastic if they shared our name because we're going to be able to help that insured through the whole process. Even though they're not going to be at the end, we have a lot of companies that we do work with on that side, but not as many that do the full reconstruction. Because with the contractors, we're there at the beginning, the ones that are doing the recon, and we're there at the end. But a lot of the remediation companies, and I'm not going to name names, that I've been doing business for years, they see it. They're doing the cleaning, could be quick fire cleaning, and this, even on the mold remediation, if it's a leak in the kitchen and they got to take out the cabinets, they may call us to pack out the cabinets, but they'll tell the insured that these wood floors are going to have to come up eventually. You need a company like this. You're going to need them in the future. And that's one spot that we're trying to improve on to get to someone. And, the other thing is, we know a lot of public adjusters out there. And the big misconception, which it's a myth we got to try to bust, because I work with some great public adjusters, a lot on the high end side, but they're afraid to refer pack out because they believe it's going to take something away from the insured. The only thing it's going to do is give them weeks back of their life, not doing their own packing, their unpacking, contents sitting wet, damaged that are eventually going to be ruined. And then, they might get some replacement dollars for those things eventually, but then they got to spend weeks shopping, finding this stuff, trying to replace it. Some may enjoy that if they have no life, but this time and this stuff is not thought about. So there's a lot of things that can be salvaged, and we make the best judgment. If it's going to cost more than 60%, and this is what we tell the carriers too, it's going to cost more than 60% for us to pack it, move it, and clean it. We're going to document it non-salvage for you as the contents expert. And that's one thing that's different from us is we can come in and do a proper evaluation of the contents rather than waiting for an inventory company, so we can move these claims along a lot quicker. Yeah.
Before we get to the tour, can you give homeowners one tip about pack out or how to prepare before anything happens? And
one thing, how to prepare before a claim would happen? Document your inventory. Document your inventory.
Okay.
We're actually going to be opening up a separate side where we do inventory for clients using our software. A lot on the high end side, but document. You buy something significant that's worth more than a couple $100, add it to a photo group, whatever it is, whatever photo software you use. But the more pictures you have, the better. A lot of times we have to deal with total losses, and we sit with the insured, and we have to go through family photos. We have to go over Christmas dinner to see what their dining room looked like before, so we can document the chairs, the tables, and all that. A lot of people don't have those pictures, so take more pictures at home. Got it.
Thank you so much, Nick. So we're ready to take this tour. Show us around, and then we'll do a few questions towards the end before we end this live.
1 second. We're going to switch this around here real quick. There we go. Right now, we're in our training room right now. No, temporary video studio. We're going to take you into the cleaning lab to start here. Everybody's out in the field today, which works out, so it's nice and quiet. I'll take a look over here. This is full firearm series. This is ultrasonic equipment. If anybody knows about ultrasonic, it means by cavitation bubble. To relate a little bit more, it's an oversized jewelry cleaner. You ever have your jewelry cleaned? This is how it cleans. Go through the whole process here. And then over here in the corner, we have our electronics restoration equipment. This basically cleans by demineralizing the water. Nothing too fancy, but we'll just do a quick tour of the warehouse here. We'll come on down here. Now this is our main location. This is one of our 3 warehouses. It is our largest in our corporate office. This is the vault storage we spoke about. Every vault has a barcode here. Every item is scanned into that barcode. If I was to scan this barcode, we could see exactly what's in it. We're not going to go too far down here. This is our decon chamber, which we use for hydroxyl and ozone. This is where we deodorize a lot of the contents. A little bit of everything.
Or big items.
We use our rolling racks to get a lot of the small items. A lot of the upholstery and the wood items that are heavily contaminated. That's what we put in there. Pretty much everything has gone in there. Right now, we've got a lot going on here, so it's a little tight. This is our soft goods section right here. Dryer. This is a Sporta wash system. This cleans by extraction and not agitation, so we're able to clean about 90% of items that you would normally dry clean. We do this here, and we also do it in our Lakeland office. Little tour through here. We'll just show you a couple aisles. We're not going to go too far, but we got a few more going down here. So when you're packing out a house, it can range from anywhere from 5 to 6 volts up to 25 to 30 volts. A lot of the contents are associated, but everything is scanned into the vault, and then the vault is scanned into the location. This gives us access to know exactly where anything's at, and you'd be surprised how often people want to pull something out of their storage. I'm going to New York. I got to have my fur coat. We get that every November about 20 times. We're going to take you through the office real quick.
Goodness. Sounds good.
This is our corporate office. We're going to go around the room here, I guess. Yeah. Right. This is Joanne, Director of First Impression. Few people out of the office: sales and marketing, estimation, bookkeeping. A couple people working from home, and we'll end it in my office here. That's about it. Quick and easy.
Wonderful. No, I mean, I encourage you, if Pack on the Go does a happy hour and networking event, please come and see it for yourself. See the wonderful facility that they have. I mean, your technology is, like I said, robust, and for me, it's the best technology when it comes down to pack outs. And
I appreciate that.
He's your guy. So Nick, let them know how they can contact you guys. If they have a claim, whether they're a business or a
well, you can call our
homeowner,
general number, which is 888-450-PACK. That'll get us to our corporate office, and we'll distribute it accordingly. Always visit our website if you want to check out, learn some more, packonthego.com. And our general email is info@packonthego.com. And we will be putting out some dates. We're going to be doing open houses about 3-4 times a year coming up here soon. I think we got one coming up in June, and then we're going to probably do one in the fall. But we're going to continue to do it. Another thing I want to put out there, if anybody needs the use of my training facility, if anybody in the industry, we leave it open and available. We can easily seat 30 to 40 people in there. If the public adjusters are working remotely and they want to get their teams together, we encourage you to come. The more exposure, the more people that see this, the more it clicks. And it's been, yeah. And example of that is we host a lot for a lot of our restoration partners. We'll get them and their whole team in here. There could be 1 or 2 of their project managers that refer me. When I get them in here, all of a sudden there's 4 or 5. They're like, oh, I get it. Now I understand what pack out is. Most people are afraid that we're taking this, putting it in some dingy warehouse without air conditioning. One thing I didn't mention, our warehouses are all fully air conditioned, not climate controlled. When you hear climate control, that's like a little exhaust fan going out the window. I got 6 air conditions in there. Yeah.
Like in the pod. Yeah. Like the pods.
We avoid those at all costs.
In the driveway, yeah.
Nothing but a nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, reach out to us if you need anything. Thinking of us for a pack out, even if you're just, you got a little bit of doubt, you'd be surprised what we can do. It could be a manipulation of one room that might be full of glass that you usually tell the insured to pack out. So there's a lot of different options we can help with. If you just need your textiles cleaned, we can come out and take care of that. Millie, I thank you very much. Got it.
Thank you
Mhm.
so much. And before I let you go, because I like people getting to know us on a personal level,
My
what's
hobby.
your hobby?
My main hobby is off-road biking. I mountain bike. It's my main thing. Also wakeboarding. Very into
Okay.
fitness. I do a lot of working out, running, biking. But my main thing is mountain biking. If I'm on my bike or my boat, I'm super happy.
We'll we'll have to make a
Yeah,
networking event, either a biking thing or a boating
I
thing.
love that.
We'll have
Little
to plan it
biking, little
out.
less drinking. That'd be great.
Why
Awesome.
not? Why not?
Thank
Why
you.
not? All right, Nick, thank you so much for giving us a tour and giving us just a 30,000-foot view on your company and your history. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if anybody needs pack out services, please reach out to Nick on Pack of the Go, and
Thank you,
they'll
Millie.
take care
Have a
of
great
you
day. Have a
guys.
great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too. Take care. Have a